With GTA 5 Online's big update, Criminal Enterprise, there was a lot of changes to some businesses in the game, for example the Clubhouse or MC businesses, the Bunker, and as well as the Nightclub. With that comes really a not only understanding, but a different way of doing some of these businesses than you were before this update. Not only did this update give some businesses more features and more ways to not only make money, but to speed up the process of making money. For example, the Nightclub, you can now actually go and get goods instead of waiting on a business battle or just to wait for your nightclub to build up in value. Now you can actually kind of fast forward that with doing missions. So with this update comes a whole new list of what the best businesses really are in GTA Online. Now to start off with the fifth one, we are going to do the arcade. Now the reason for the arcade and why it's at fifth really is because it is very iffy. I guess you could say very iffy. Just because the arcade really isn't the biggest money making thing that there is in the game at all. Obviously it has access to the Diamond Casino heist, so you can do that. You can spawn here, you can get new clothes from here, new outfits, everything else like that. It does have a safe, so when you buy arcade machines then you're going to be able to use a safe in order to get that stuff and all that type of nonsense. But going past the heist, because you can't do it by yourself, which I personally like, what the arcade really has that again it costs a lot of money, which is what I'll get into here in a second, is this little area right here. Now this you can buy from the computer, and this is basically, this gives you access to every single business in the game. Now obviously you're gonna have to own some to be able to go look at some. You're gonna see here that I don't obviously own everything in the game. I'm about there, almost there, but you can see the Nightclub, you can see the gun running, you can see all these things, even the CEO vehicle cargo and special cargo, and as well as these small MC businesses. Then what you can do with these, let's see, we will look at the gun running. So we're gonna click here. It's just like you're at the bunker and you're looking at the computer screen. You can go here, might as well buy it right now, buy some supplies, boom, done. Go to the Nightclub, manage stock, look at all this, even sell some goods, do upgrades, anything else like that, manage your warehouse, all the other stuff. You could go to your little MC businesses, you can go in here and you can resupply, sell stock, everything else like that. Obviously if you sell stock, I don't know if it spawns at that point. I really have no idea. I don't know if it just for some reason teleports you to that place, but I think you'll have to drive to for example the meth lab, and then go and sell those products. Obviously MC businesses are horrible to sell. I hate all the missions, every single one of them suck. But then there's also special cargo, and if right now obviously if you couldn't see the top left, special cargo right now we can't click on it because we're not a CEO, we are a MC in the MC Clubhouse, or we are a president of the MC right now. So the only thing we could do is everything but vehicle cargo and special cargo, but everything is here. You can control everything as if you were at every single business, which is really nice. It's so easy. Then you don't have to go and drive to the meth lab, weed farm, counterfeit cash factory, buy supplies for all those, and then leave back and waste 30 minutes of your time, depending on where they're at obviously. But it's still a hassle and it's annoying. You get the point of that. Now the big issue I have with this is the fact that it costs so much money. So let's look at the one I have. I have the most expensive one, the most expensive arcade. I believe it was around 3.5 million. Now if I look here for the cheapest one, I'm sure it's going to be up above 1.2 million. Okay, if you get the one in Paleto Bay, that seems like it's going to be the cheapest. So let's say you do that, you just get that, you don't get any extras, nothing, none of that type of stuff. You have to go to your computer once you get into your arcade, and then once you get on the computer you're going to see some options. Obviously you're going to see some arcade machines that you can buy, as well as some other things. But when you go to upgrades, you're going to see drone station and master control terminal. Master control terminal is the one that you're going to want. That is going to be 1.7 million. So let's say you got the $1.2 million one and you put 1.7 million on top of that. That's going to leave you to 2.9 million. Or I think there's maybe 60 and 40,000. So let's say you add the 60 and 40,000. Now you're at 3 million. That is ridiculous. I mean, just to see that, you'd think it'd be in the upgrades or just come with it when you buy it. It's not. I mean, right now total earnings is 3,970 from the, I haven't bought any arcade machines, but that's just from the safe. So the safe isn't going to save you. It's not as good as the Nightclub. It's not as good as the agency at all. So the only reason this is really on the list, I mean, I'm sure it's going to go up if I buy arcade machines, which again, those can get pretty pricey. I mean, if I bought 3 right here that I'm looking at, that's going to be close to $1 million. And without knowing really what I'm going to get from that, who knows if it's actually worth it, or it's worth even putting any money into arcade machines. So the only good thing that you're going to want this for is to manage everything. And even though it seems like, wow, that's too much to put in, again, if you have people, you could do the heist, you can put vehicles in here if you buy the garage attachment, and you do earn a little bit of earnings from the safe. But overall, being able to control everything that you own in the game from one area is very helpful, and it's going to save you a bunch of time that you won't realize until you actually get it. All right, now coming in at number 4 on this list, past the arcade, it's going to be a big business, and it was kind of tough to decide where to put this on the list, but it's going to be the bunker. Now, right now, I do believe it's at double the price or double the amount of money that it usually is. It's the same thing with contracts in the MC, which we will get to later on in the video. The bunker really is a good one, not to rely on, but to have kind of in the background. The bunker has 2 main things, really. We'll get into the third one here in a second, but you can do research as well as sell stock. So what research is, if you don't know, or you've been hiding under a rock at GTA Online, basically stuff that was from the bunker update. So the Oppressor Mark 1, the first one that has missiles, you can unlock that. You can unlock all these specific ammo types for some weapons, some Mark II weapons, as well as some sights and everything else like that, as well as some liveries. So you can get all these type of things with research. Does research take a decent amount of time? Yes, especially get all of these unlocked. But usually if you just buy supplies, especially if you buy them from the arcade, you won't really know that you're doing a bunch of research. But right now, the time to sell stock, or at least put stock level up with your supplies instead of research, is now, especially with the 2-time sale. So right now I could sell it for 231,000 when right now it's valued at 95,000. So there is a good margin in that, which is kind of nice, but this will go away, so maybe when that goes away, focus on research. This does happen occasionally to the bunker, of getting a money upgrade or a money boost for a certain amount of time. Now, the one thing that they added in the bunker that I covered in a previous video, and if you haven't seen that, that will be linked in the description below. I did do a video on the bunker and all the new additions added to the bunker. The biggest one really to this was the weapon parts that you could deliver. This is going to be $50,000 every time you deliver it. It's just basically driving this slow truck that has weapons on the back of it, which they say is excess weapons from what you're doing in your stock or research from your bunker, and then you have to deliver it to a gun shop. Usually they're pretty easy. They might be 3 miles away, depending on, well, really, I mean, I have the closest bunker to the city, so really 3 miles away, 2 miles sometimes, maybe even the 1 if you're close to one. It's always random. So you just deliver this 50,000, and usually, if you're lucky, this will give you or put you in the city. There are a lot of gun shops in the city, so if you do go in the city, then you're right by everything else you have, or maybe you have stuff in the country. So if you do go buy a gun store in the country, then you could be buy something that you own, which is sometimes what I use this for. So that's pretty neat. Obviously, this also holds the mobile operation center, so if you want that badly, or you just want, you know, a powerful semi truck that can hold vehicles and upgrade, now can upgrade anything, because they changed that to now being able to upgrade anything that can fit in the MC, the mobile operation center. So there is that added bonus, but that is covering really the bunker. It is placed at 4 just because it does have a good sell value. The missions are a lot better than the MC missions, but sometimes you can run out of time. There is a trick though, you can lose about maybe $15,000 if you just go and you find a new lobby and then try to sell them again. Alright, again with somewhat of a tough decision. Coming in at number 3, we're going to have the MC Clubhouse and all the businesses that come with it. Now, the main reason I have this at number 3, sell missions. Sell missions are horrible in the game. I believe it was referring to this in one of my previous videos. I believe it was on the MC video, where I discussed all the new things that came with the Clubhouse and the upgrades. I believe the upgrades and the amount that you can sell for. Somebody said on that video that it's not even worth it really to do those missions, and at that I somewhat agree with that, just because they're so annoying. And of course, when he said that and I went to go do a sell mission that same day, I got these vans that can barely make it up a hill. I don't even think I sold every product that I had. Just to have vans that cannot go up the hill, much, please just change it a little bit. But it's Rockstar, they're gonna do some of that type of stuff, but those sell missions are just horrible, and which is why I don't really personally like to do them. But the reason the Clubhouse is at 3 and above those other 2, obviously the arcade doesn't really give you much except to control everything, but they've added Clubhouse contracts to the MC. Right now they are double money, so everything you see here is going to be double the reward from what I would get normally. But they have some pretty good missions, some that are required to do with other people, some you could do by yourself. And with this just comes, I believe, around right now maybe 30,000 if I remember correctly. I can't really remember correctly. But another addition that they added was a bar. Now obviously, if you remember before this update, there was always a bar in your MC Clubhouse, but you couldn't do anything with it. I mean, you just sat there. Really, the bartender was just there doing nothing. But right now you can have it so that you make money from it, which makes a lot of sense. I'm glad they added this into the game, and now you can actually utilize something that nobody did utilize before. So that's something you could do. You just get supplies. I've never had to run into enemies getting supplies, or scratch that, I've never had to do a mission killing a bunch of enemies to get the vehicle, not like it is for the CEO warehouse missions where you have to go do all these weird things. You maybe you have to get 3 crates or what. It's always a van that you have to get, bring back, and you may get chased by the other MC. Lost MC, I think that's what they're called. They'll chase you, but that's about it. Now obviously you have a safe just like everything else. It's a weird looking safe. I mean, well, there's no safe really. I don't know what you're grabbing this from, but right now it's valued at 55,000. I haven't kept too much order into it, but it is a decent way, or it is a good backup way to make money and could keep you occupied. If you're bored or whatever, you can go and you could just do a quick mission, bring it back, do a contract, that sort of thing. Obviously, the Clubhouse comes with all the businesses that you can buy, and with those comes a decent profit, but it's not... I can't say it's not worth it. It's just really not amazing to do, especially by yourself. If you're trying to do these sell missions by yourself, you're going to just be so frustrated with it. I mean, you do have 30 minutes, I believe. But then again, just to try to get something sold, 30 minutes is going to go by quickly, and you're barely going to have any time to complete or all 4 vans to go up a hill in the Vinewood area, the hills, whatever, or to get these planes to go across here in 10 minutes for all 3 of it. It's a hassle to do. Will Rockstar ever do something with it? No, probably not. If they put this attention to the Clubhouse and they aren't going to fix the business missions, the sell missions, then they're not going to ever fix it. So we're stuck with this, but either have to deal with it or just don't do it at all. Alright, coming in at number 2 is going to be my best way to tell beginners to make money, which is the CEO office. Now, this does still hold its ground for how long it's been in the game, and even though it is a beginner starter way to make money, this still holds a high ground even for people who have all these type of businesses. CEO is really a huge one to be in. Now, to start off with the CEO vehicle warehouse, that is likely going to be the second thing you purchase from the CEO building itself or from the office computer. That's because it's more expensive than the warehouse, and the warehouse does give you that money to start off to end up getting that $1 million to buy your CEO vehicle warehouse. But to start off with the vehicle warehouse, you're going to earn a profit of 80,000 with a simple trick of always getting or sourcing vehicles and not selling any of them, or at least not selling any of the low and mid-range vehicles. If you don't know what this trick is, low and mid-range vehicles sell less than high-end vehicles. Kind of is in the names, common sense, right? So if you source all of these vehicles and you end up just you fill out the low and mid-range vehicles that you can possibly get in the CEO vehicle warehouse, then you end up with only being able to source the high-end vehicles, which in turn you can always sell that high-end vehicle right after you source it, which always gives you the profit of 80,000 because it takes 20,000 to upgrade or customize and then 100,000 in wholesale, so you will get $80,000 in profit. Now, the way to kind of counteract that is if you are solely, let's say you're just in the CEO or you only own the CEO building in the warehouse or the vehicle warehouse, then you're going to be able to do a VIP mission. Now, the reason I say do a VIP mission, when you do a sell mission or before or however you want to do it, you're going to get the 20,000 plus back. You're going to make that $100,000 in just a short, maybe 10 to 20 minutes depending on how quick you do the VIP mission. Usually, no matter where your vehicle warehouse is at, those missions usually are pretty quick. I don't even know if there's a time limit on there. It's very quick. You're really not going to realize it. You're just driving around the map, trying to crash the car and delivering it. It's very easy. And then adding that VIP mission on top of that gets you the 100,000 plus now. So you make that 20,000 that you had to spend to customize the vehicle and put it back, which really, it won't seem like a lot, really. And then you can source. By the time you source that vehicle, that timer should be up after the VIP mission and source mission, and then you could just repeat that process. And for that being one of your first things you get, you're going to make a good amount of money quickly and then buy other businesses and vehicles and everything else like that. Now, the warehouse right now is, I've been farming that up recently just because they added something new to the CEO warehouse. Now, they added a person in it, or makes them able to source a crate or 2 for the warehouse. So if you go to the warehouse, you pay $7,500 to have them go source a crate, and once they do, they can come back with 1, 2, maybe 3, I'm not so sure, but I've seen 1 or 2 crates, so that saves you some time. And if you didn't want to source any crates, you could just go to your warehouse, tell them to go source it, and then once they source it, go back, do the same process over and over again, and that could save you some time and then fill up your warehouse over a course of hours or however long it may take. The other thing that added to the CEO building itself really is you go to your desk up front, you can export mixed goods. Now this does not rely on the new person in the warehouse. This is just a random occurrence, kind of like the bunker. And then once that can come back up to be available, this is going to be another $50,000 when you go and you drive this vehicle or this semi that has some goods on it, and then you're gonna go and you're gonna sell this at the same place every single time. You're gonna pick it up at your warehouse, then you're gonna go sell it. So from what I know, this does not have to do with that person at all. Maybe it does, but this was a thing that was added, that you can export mixed goods, and it is going to be available just like the bunker. It will give you a notification right above your mini map, and then you go and sell that for $50,000. So if you compare that to the bunker or you combine them, then you're gonna get $100,000 pretty easily. Now obviously the CEO, or being a CEO, has some perks by itself. VIP missions, you're gonna be able to call in some free vehicles, as well as just being a CEO can give you some added benefits with being able to heal if you're behind cover pretty quickly because of the little bubble that they can give you. So as an added benefit, again, if you buy the buzzard, you can get that and spawn that for free, really any location at all. I believe you can even spawn on a hill. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure I'm right on that, but you can basically spawn the buzzard anywhere. As well as being a CEO, you can have access to these other businesses, CEO or MC, either one. If you're in either one, you can have access to any other business in the game that's not directly involved to being a CEO or MC. So that could be your first way of then getting other businesses and being a part of that and be able to sell missions and source stuff and everything else like that. All right, coming in at number 1, I'm sure you expected this by the one that I left off the list but somewhat mentioned, that is going to be the Nightclub. Now the reason Nightclub is at number 1, not only does it make you money when you're doing nothing, with 2 options being the wall safe as well as being the actual big money maker, which is the warehouse. So the warehouse is going to make you money as well as the wall safe, with sometimes not really doing anything. Obviously you could do missions to speed up that process, like I did mention earlier in the video. One with calling Johan for your warehouse, and then calling Tony for your popularity in your nightclub. Now the biggest downside that I see to this is other businesses really. Now part of the warehouse management, you have a few options to choose from. And it's going to be cargo and shipments, sporting goods, South American imports, pharmaceutical research, organic produce, printing and copying, as well as cash creation. Now most of them are MC businesses. The other one is a CEO warehouse. The other one is the bunker. Cargo and shipments is a CEO warehouse, sporting goods is a bunker, and then the rest are going to be specifically to the MC businesses. Now you can't see it on the screen right now, but all 7 of these are getting filled. I don't have all 7 of these, so even though it may seem like a downside and you can't specifically put somebody to be in charge of that said business, if that's sporting goods or organic produce. I mean, right now the one that I don't have is South American imports and printing and copying, but if I go back to the home page, printing and copying's above cash creation, when on warehouse management I have cash creation open and I own it. So that is a little somewhat weird. I don't have a technician on that, so that may be part of it, but just to see something that I don't own above that kind of shows that it doesn't really matter if you don't own anything or not. Basically the way to get the most amount of money from this is obviously doing the missions that Johan tells you to do. If you call him, you could do a mission, bring it in, you're gonna have your goods go up in value, as well as getting, I believe, like $11,000 from doing that mission. But the way to get the most amount of money out of this is to buy a bunch of storage and just have that fill up to the brim. Buy the semi truck that you can find online, you can purchase that, and then once you have that, you can then upgrade it to have armor. I don't know about proximity mines, but missiles, stuff like that, in order to help those sell missions. And now that you can sell them in invite only lobbies, there should be a piece of cake. You only have to worry about the AI that you'll have to go after, or will go after you really. And you can do these sell missions pretty easily and do the most amount of money you can get from them. The safe also goes up to 250,000, and lately for me that's been going up pretty quickly in huge amounts of money. So I don't know why. I don't know if that's a limited time thing that's just going to go up very quickly, but it has been for me, and they do leave a bunch of options to be able to put your popularity up. If you spawn in or you just go to your nightclub randomly, it's going to spawn somebody doing something, whether that's them being a downer to the party, or somebody being drunk or whatever, or there's a VIP you have to escort, or somebody you have to throw out. Those are some missions that are going to help with popularity, as well as give you a little bit of cash from it as well. So they did add that thing to the nightclub that's going to help you, and now you can sprint in it, so it's not going to be so much of a struggle being, oh, I gotta go to the nightclub, walk for 5 minutes, and then finally get to where I need to be. No, now you can finally run, so it's gonna be a little bit easier for you. But the sell missions really for this are the best ones out of every single business. I mean, you have your own vehicle that you can upgrade yourself. It's only one vehicle. You're never gonna have to do 2 other vehicles. The cell missions are pretty easy. I've never had a problem with any of the cell missions. They never caused me any issues, and especially having your own vehicle with its own upgrades, with its own weapons, is amazing. It is such a game changer, and it makes it so easy to sell huge amounts of money and not being scared to not be able to complete the mission or running out of time or getting destroyed. And especially now being able to do an invite only lobby, you only have to worry about the AI. You don't have to worry about Oppressor Mark II griefers, which I don't think they really exist anymore, or I mean they do exist, but it's a little bit more of a struggle fest with how Rockstar changed that for them. But it's a lot easier to do all this, especially with your safe going up and then your warehouse going up. Everything's going to go up sometimes without you doing anything, and if you do stuff, it's going to go up a lot quicker and it's going to be worth a lot. So Tony does get a cut though, so whatever you see as the price right now, for me it says 405. I won't get 405. I may get 350 or 380 because Tony does get a cut or a percentage of whatever you do. It will tell you what he gets, but I mean it's not that the biggest issue really. If you want to risk it and do it in a public lobby, you can, and try to get that money that he would take up because of a, I don't know if it's called a risk bonus or whatever, but you get a bonus for selling it in populated lobbies. So if you want to try that, go ahead, risk it. If not, just deal with the cut and get a percentage cut off of that. It's not a huge percentage, but it is going to be less than what it says to sell. All right, so that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this video and you found it useful. All 5 of these businesses are good and have their own benefits. Nightclub just really just takes the cake and everything with being able, with the money that you can make profit wise, because you don't really have to buy supplies to save time. You don't have to steal supplies. All you got to do is you could do missions to speed up the process or just wait it out. It's the easiest thing to do. You never have to put money into the Nightclub once you purchase it, obviously, unless you purchase more storage or anything else like that. I mean, maybe that counts in the vehicles as well that you purchase and upgrade, but those help tremendously. You don't ever have to buy supplies. Everything is just so much better with the Nightclub. That's why it holds the cake at number 1. Everything else is kind of just iffy, except for the arcade. I mean, the only good thing about that, and the reason I put it on there, is because time. Obviously, everybody knows the saying, you can't sell time. So saving your time is going to be very useful, especially in a video game. So having the arcade to save you a bunch of time and stuff you want to do in GTA 5 online is a huge thing for me, and that's why that's on the list. Now, if you think there's any huge problems with this list, let me know in the comments. If you found me being stupid, let me know in the comments. But if you did enjoy this video, there would be a GTA 5 playlist to the top right, as well as my most recent upload to the bottom right, and then the recommended video is going to be to the bottom left. Now, I do have a video idea coming out here soon. I do have a video planned on GTA 5 coming out soon, which is really going to revolve around vehicles in the game, such as the MOC and the Avenger, and just kind of comparing all of them and seeing which one I would rank better than most, just because of the options and the stuff that they give you. So watch out for that video, as well as maybe a ranking of MC businesses to see which one gives you the most profit, which one is going to make life easier on you, as well as maybe a vehicle, the best to get from 0 to 100,000 or anything else like that. Those type of videos may be coming out soon, so stay tuned for that. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see those videos that I have planned, consider subscribing. That helps me out tremendously. I appreciate everybody who subscribes, and I like seeing that subscribe button go up. It makes me know that I like seeing that subscribe count go up. It makes me know that I'm doing something right. And with all that said, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.